Today on Drawbli,
Ben is doing a Procreate Workshop.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we're drawing together because art is better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out our guidebook on daily drawing, linked down below.
So Ben, you have been a Procreate machine these last several weeks. Your output has been crazy. I cannot keep up. And what's more is you did a whole workshop. You are taking it to the next level.
Our mutual friend Clayton asked me if I would do a little Procreate workshop for him and a few of his constituents, some friends, some family, and we did it at a cafe close by in Cincinnati. Had a pretty good time. I taught everybody how essentially digital painting works, how the tool works, and we painted an apple.
For anyone wondering why I wasn't there, I was at work.
Abby was at work. She is on one of those big nursing contracts.
Yeah, something like that.
So this is the first apple that I did as like a test, essentially, to check to see if I could do this really quick and kind of formulate some steps to make it easy to follow.
Yeah.
I also created some brushes for them to use for a little test.
That's so
I
nice
made like an airbrush, a custom airbrush with some texture. I made this kind of like spray texture brush that I'm using here, as well as a few other paint brushes. But yeah, so like I said, this was the test apple. I didn't spend very long on this at all. I think 20 minutes. It went by pretty quick.
You are like an apple pro. You have painted so many apples. So for you, 20 minutes is like, that's more than enough time to make a good apple.
It is more than enough. I also do really enjoy painting apples. It's a good time. And then coming up here, after I erased this background, is the apple that I did during the workshop. So I didn't record it in terms of like the process. So this is just a quick time lapse of the apple. And I'm very surprised that it turned out like as well as it did, because I was holding my iPad up in the air with my left hand and like awkwardly painting with my right hand. So I was like, you know what, this apple turned out pretty good for how quick and awkward I did it.
But enough with apples. Let's get back to what we all really like to paint, people.
Yeah, just some sketches, just some extra sketches. One thing that I really talked about a lot in this workshop, more than I thought I would, was just painting in general. Because a lot of people had questions about painting.
Like what?
Because once you learn the Procreate tool set, it's not about the tool, it's not about the software, it's about actually painting.
Yeah, totally.
So I talked about a lot of different things during this workshop. One of the things that I talked at length about was focus and edges. So I showed them some ideas for playing around with soft and hard edges, as well as texture and how you can kind of control focus with all those different things. All things that you're very well aware of. Very experienced.
For sure. That I can readily call to mind at any given moment when I'm painting, and not just when I've freshly reviewed that material.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I enjoy talking about painting because it's not something that I, other than here, talk about very often.
Right. I mean, it doesn't come up too much in sculpting, does it?
No, but they have some similar ideas, similar things. But it's not something that you talk about out in the wild.
Not with your friends and acquaintances.
Right.
Necessarily. People don't just generally ask,
So you occasionally have some downtime, maybe when you're between patients at work or something like that.
Or on my break.
Right, or on your break or whatever. And you have mentioned that people have asked you about your drawing and painting.
Yeah, they generally ask me, they're like, do you do ever those drawings where there's no faces and it's just the outlines of people, of families?
Wait, what?
And I'm like, I think you can do that. You can just trace over the people that do that just trace over a photo and fill it with block colors.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing's holding you back.
That is I do know the aesthetic that you're talking about. That's a pretty old thing.
Yeah.
It's a flat style, right? Very flat vector art looking.
Yeah, and it's cute. It is cute. And it's a way to personalize a piece of art with your family in it, in just a fun way. But yeah, people ask me, a little bit here and there. I'm not super public with it at work because, I'm at work to do work and not so much to draw, but occasionally. And people are always like, oh, wow.
Abby, do you have anything that you're working on with your art currently?
Keeping going. It is a lot harder when I'm working a lot more hours to make the time to draw and paint, because then I have to crunch my regular stuff also into shorter hours, like laundry, cooking, cleaning, all the stuff that I do for myself, working out, spending time outdoors now that the weather is nice. So for me, like, the victory right now is just taking some time in my day to draw. And maybe I'm not churning out a lot like you are right now, and maybe I'm not like focused on specific improvements, but I'm keeping with it, which for me really feels like a pretty significant victory right now, especially because I'm still bouncing from hobby to hobby as well, and my interests are in so many different directions.
This is very true. Abby is a serial hobbyist.
Currently I'm sewing a dress again.
Your second dress?
Yes.
You're doing the muzzling for the dress.
Yeah, I didn't know muslin wasn't a type of fabric. I thought it was a type of fabric, but it turns out it's a mock-up, the armature, if you will, the sketch of your dress.
The first attempt, just to like make sure you know how to do it all.
Mostly, I think it's about sizing it to yourself. You mock it up and then you can see. That way you're not cutting into your more expensive fabric. So we'll see. I'm almost finished, and we'll know if it fits soon.
Wow, very exciting.
Thank you. This is awesome. Your colors are amazing, very saturated. I love the hot pink in her skin tones that you've put in here. Like, it all works, and it is really fun to look at.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed the way that color sketch turned out. It was super rough and kind of, all over the place at first, but then it ended up working out in the end.
Ben, what are you working on in the world of art right now? What's your push and drive? What are you leaning towards?
I am really, soon here I want to get back into kind of just painting right from the beginning and not doing too much with lines. I've kind of gotten away from that. Lately I've been doing a lot of sketching and line work and playing around with lines because honestly, it's something that I struggled with for a long time, and I feel like I've leveled up a lot in that area and want to get back to my roots.
That sketch, by the way, was really cool. It had really nice flow. It really carried the eye really well. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. But currently, I'm working on something that I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video after I do a little more of it, which is essentially... What would you call it? The recall
Oh, you
method.
were telling me about this. Yeah. This will be fun to talk about.
Yeah. So I won't spoil it here too much, but essentially, taking the time to recall ideas from a reference instead of directly looking at a reference the entire time you're drawing.
But we're not going to talk about that right now.
No. Just a little tantalizing preview.
Will that be in the next video?
Maybe.
Okay.
Depending on if I can get it all done in time.
I have questions.
It will be in an upcoming video.
Oh, okay. I'll hold my questions for later.
Yeah, so here's my final little sketch. Or there's one more after this one. This is one I did this morning. So yeah, I think it's really important to work on your weaknesses, but at the same time, also kind of focus on your strengths. Something we do in improv a lot is not focus on our weaknesses and rather continue to focus on our strengths, which I think is, in general, a really good idea to learn. But from time to time, I think you do need to take a step back, look at your areas of weakness, and see what you can do to push on them.
Yeah, we can't all master everything, so might as well really lean into the stuff you're good at.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it.
Awesome sketches, awesome drawings. Good job today, Ben. You have really been knocking it out of the park here. I'm going to have to put some time aside and keep up. The dress can wait.
And if you want to knock it out of the park, click that like and subscribe button.
And check out our guidebook, How to Easily Draw Every Day, at the link below in the description.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goomba.
Ben, I have so many questions about this method, but we're going to have to wait.
You're going to have to wait.
It's not like I can't ask you over dinner or something.
No.
Or can I?
No, I won't tell you.
I can only find out when Drawbli does.